You were tested without being told you were being tested. That is the first truth you must understand. In life, the most important examinations are never announced. There is no countdown, no instruction manual, no clear moment where someone says, "Now begins the trial." Instead, the test disguises itself as ordinary days, repetitive struggles, quiet disappointments, and long stretches of silence. You wake up, you do what must be done, and you assume this is simply life. But beneath the surface, something deeper is happening. You are being observed by existence itself, not in judgment, but in recognition. When God says, "Congratulations," it does not mean fireworks, applause, or reward. It means you endured. It means you remained standing when no one would have blamed you for sitting down. It means you carried weight that others never saw, and you did it without demanding understanding. This is why the message arrives quietly. Loud celebrations are for the ego. Silent acknowledgement is for the soul. Most people believe tests are about talent or intelligence. They are mistaken. The real test is about consistency when motivation disappears. It is about character when no one is watching. It is about restraint when temptation feels justified. You were tested in moments when it would have been easy to compromise your values, just a little. You were tested when the shortcut whispered to you, when the lie looked harmless, when giving up felt reasonable. And each time, even when you stumbled, something in you refused to fully surrender. There were days when you felt unseen. Days when you wondered if your effort mattered at all. Days when you questioned whether anyone would ever recognize the discipline you were building in silence. Those days were not meaningless. They were the core of the test. In Shaolin teaching, we say that strength built in comfort is unreliable. Only strength built in discomfort can be trusted. You were placed in situations that did not reward you immediately. You were forced to act correctly without applause. This is how integrity is formed. You were tested in loneliness, not the dramatic kind, but the quiet loneliness where conversations feel shallow and connections feel distant. Where you are surrounded by people yet feel misunderstood. Loneliness is not meant to break you. It is meant to strip you. It removes dependency. It forces you to sit with yourself, to confront your thoughts, your fears, your impatience. Many run from this state. They distract themselves, numb themselves, or attach themselves to anything that will silence the discomfort. You stayed. You endured the silence. You listened to it. That alone shows maturity. You were tested in delay. Promises took longer than expected. Efforts did not immediately convert into results. Progress felt invisible. Delay is a powerful filter. It separates those who are committed to growth from those who are addicted to outcomes. When results are slow, the ego becomes restless. It starts bargaining. It asks, "Why am I doing this if nothing is happening?" You continued anyway. Maybe not perfectly, maybe not confidently, but you continued. That persistence is rare. You were tested in restraint. Opportunities appeared that looked beneficial on the surface, but felt wrong internally. Moments arose where reacting emotionally would have felt satisfying. Anger would have been understandable. Revenge would have felt justified. Quitting would have been accepted. But something inside you chose control over impulse. This is not weakness. This is mastery in its earliest form. Anyone can react. Few can restrain themselves when emotions demand expression. You were tested in faith, not religious faith, but faith in process. Faith that effort accumulates even when you cannot see it. Faith that discipline shapes you long before it changes your circumstances. Faith that becoming the right person matters more than arriving at the right destination. This kind of faith is difficult because it offers no immediate proof. It demands patience without reassurance. Many abandon it. You did not. You were tested when you were misunderstood, when your silence was interpreted as distance, when your discipline was interpreted as coldness, when your boundaries were interpreted as pride. It is painful to be misread, especially when you are making sincere effort to improve. Yet you learned an important lesson. Not everyone is meant to understand your path. Explanation is exhausting. Consistency is clearer than words. You chose to let your actions speak over time. You were tested in moments of weakness, when your body was tired and your mind was heavy, when even small tasks felt overwhelming, when doubts crept in quietly, asking if all this effort was worth it. Weakness is not failure. Weakness reveals what remains when strength is gone, and what remained in you was resolve. Even when you slowed down, you did not turn around. God's tests are subtle because they are designed to reveal who you are, not who you pretend to be. If the test were obvious, you would perform, you would act for approval. But when the test feels like life itself, your true nature emerges. Your habits, your choices, your reactions under pressure all speak louder than intentions. What you showed was not perfection, but sincerity. Not flawlessness, but perseverance. The congratulations you receive now is not a conclusion. It is a recognition that you are capable of carrying more. In the Shaolin path, only those who endure the early hardships without complaint are given greater responsibility. Comfort weakens awareness. Ease dulls discipline. You were kept in difficulty because difficulty was shaping you into someone dependable. Understand this clearly. Passing the test does not mean you will no longer struggle. It means your struggles will have meaning. It means the weight you carry will build strength rather than resentment. It means you are learning to move forward without constant reassurance. This is the foundation of inner power. Many people want signs. They want confirmation before commitment. They want guarantees before effort. Life does not work that way. You committed without guarantees. You worked without applause. You waited without certainty. That is why this message finds you now. Not to excite you, but to steady you. Congratulations means you did not abandon yourself. Even in moments where you were unsure, you did not completely betray your inner values. You may have doubted your path, but you did not fully leave it. That loyalty to your own growth is rare. It cannot be taught. It can only be tested. Now understand the responsibility that comes with this. Having passed a silent test means you must continue to live with awareness. You cannot return to unconscious behavior. You cannot pretend you did not learn what you learned. The discipline you built must now be maintained, not occasionally, but consistently. This is the real challenge. Anyone can endure temporarily. Few can remain steady over time. This is why the message does not celebrate loudly. Celebration invites complacency. Recognition invites clarity. You are being told quietly that you are capable, that you are stronger than you once believed, that your endurance has not gone unnoticed. Do not let this acknowledgement inflate your ego. Let it deepen your humility. Let it sharpen your focus. Let it remind you that the path you are on is correct, even when it feels difficult. Especially when it feels difficult. You passed a silent test, not because you were perfect, but because you were honest in your effort. Because you stayed when leaving would have been easier. Because you chose growth over comfort more times than anyone saw. That is why the message says congratulations. And that is why it arrives without noise. What you are experiencing now is not a sudden change brought by a date on the calendar. It is the result of an internal shift that has been slowly forming within you for a long time. Cycles do not end because time passes. They end because awareness arrives. Many people move from year to year carrying the same patterns, the same wounds, the same reactions, only dressed in new circumstances. You are different now. Something inside you has closed a door that once remained open no matter how much pain passed through it. An old cycle is not just a situation. It is a way of thinking. It is the habit of reacting the same way, choosing the same type of struggle, repeating the same emotional posture toward life. You lived inside certain loops for a long time. You tried harder. You waited longer.